Hello, hello, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Nikki Marie. Joining me is singer, songwriter, director, performer. She's probably everything else that I haven't even mentioned, but she's coming straight from Detroit. Welcome, LiaSimone, to the show. I'm so excited to have her here as a guest.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm excited to hear all about your music and just having this creative process that you have going on and talk a little
Definitely.
bit about the pandemic and how it affected you.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, just tell us a little bit about you and how you got started into music.
Yeah. So I love that question. I know it's probably so cliche, but I love the beginning process. That's always my favorite. I've been singing since about 10 years old. I used to actually have really bad stage fright, believe it or not. I started getting into activities to kind of help me get in front of audiences, like the dance team, the pom team, etc. And so throughout high school, I actually cheered as well for 5 to 6 years. And then that I started doing musical theater. And that is what kind of set the tone for me. Like musical theater was like, wow, I love being on a stage. I love entertaining people. I love wowing people. And so that was my senior year of high school. And after that year ended, I was really debating, like, do I want to try to go the Broadway approach, or do I want to make my own music? And then it just dawned on me, like, I think I want to launch myself as a recording
Mm.
artist and make my own music instead.
Yeah.
I took a year and started working on my debut EP with one of my favorite producers ever, Loose Cannon, right here in Detroit, Michigan. And
Nice.
I independently released my EP in 2017, and then I re-released it in 2018. So it gets kind of confusing, but either way, I did all that by myself. And then ever since then, it's been me and my mom. She is my manager as well, trying
Mhm.
to book me for shows, and trying to just like find connections and make our way through this journey. So that is where it started. It was like, hey, I love singing, but I can't sing in front of people yet. What can I do to help me, get experience? And then doing musical theater, I was like, yep, I love the stage. So that's what kind of did it.
What does that do to your soul for you to be able to perform in front of people? And I always feel like performers, they always get us hyped up and
Yes.
they seem so ambitious and just enjoying in the moment.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel to the core of you?
Yeah, for me, I am really big on like precision and like rehearsal and stuff like that. So for me, a lot of the stuff that I do, I work on really hard and I like work on for long amounts of time. So once it's like show day, it's to me giving everything that I've been practicing, and giving everything that I've been going over the details, from costuming to whatever. And then being on the stage is like I'm finally showing whoever, all the work that I put in for however amount of time. So it just feels like that hard work is now it's showtime. And so it feels good just to show what I've been working on. So
Yeah. I
yeah.
always tell people I always tell people that I'm a ball of emotions and fear and I get anxious.
Yeah.
But then once the camera is on, it's like almost like a different person.
Yeah. Yeah, I always give myself like a window. So about an hour before the show or whatever it may be, that's when the nerves start trickling in and they build and they just keep going and going. And then kind of, when you're like me as a performer, when you're in that waiting area right before they announce your name, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna puke. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
yeah.
And then soon as I go, and I always say, soon as I say my first sentence, like, how's everybody doing? Or I am LiaSimone, it's over with. So
Right.
yeah. Yes.
I mean, to the people that, are tuning in and they're like, "Oh, well, you do this all the time." Like, I still get stage fright. Like, I still get afraid. Like, when the countdown is going, I'm still
Aw.
like, "Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god." And then it's like the camera is like, "Okay, action."
Yeah.
So it's like it's not you. It's not
Yeah.
nothing. It's just a part of
Absolutely.
life and, we go through a lot of trials and fears,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
you push through it.
Yeah.
So now with singing and songwriting, I wanna understand that creative process because I also sing and do my little karaoke and whatnot, but
Okay.
I'm not professional going out and, doing shows and stuff,
Yeah.
but I can listen to a beat
Nice.
or some type of tune and I will write something. And more than anything, it's probably something that I'm feeling in the moment,
Yeah.
listening to it, but it's still like a memory
Yeah.
of something that happened or something that I want to happen.
Yeah.
So just walk me through a little bit of your creative process.
Yeah, that's awesome, by the way. That's really cool. And I think I saw even that you make beats, so that's cool too.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Yes, period. So for me, it kind of can go both either way. So sometimes it'll be a melody that comes to me, or I'll be driving and hear something or see something, and I'll kind of like duly note it, for later and build on it once I'm like home or in like a comfortable space. But when I'm writing for a specific thing, like, hey, I know that I want a single out, I need to start coming up with something, that is where I kind of take the process and say, what do I want to talk about? So that's kind of how I started. It's like, it's either going to be that really natural way, the stuff that comes to you in the shower or in your dreams, or it'll be more planned out where it's like, okay, even for Can't Be Beat, I was like, okay, I want to make like, I literally was like, I want to make a song that is about me overcoming a lot of the BS that I've been through. I said, let me start going through some of it. And that's where it was like very intentional. So it just can go either way. Sometimes it's go with the flow. Sometimes I'll sit, in my room for like hours trying to like really focus on this one exact song that I'm trying to finish. So, yes.
I know there is a song called Lost. I want to play a little bit of it.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm in a daze, can't hear myself. I'm in a haze, can't see myself. I'm so lost. In a trance, I'm not myself. In a daze, it's someone else.
Now, if people are following you on social media, the look that you have on this video, I'm like, yeah, you are someone else.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what this song is or what it means? Because I always feel like we write things, but like as a writer, I want you to get a particular message, but you might not be getting that message because
Absolutely.
you're listening to what you want to listen to.
Absolutely.
But I actually wanted it to mean this and
Absolutely.
not this.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Yes.
you can talk a little bit about what loss means.
Yeah. So first, I love that you even said that because that's what I kind of, even though it can be scary sometimes, I love the idea of just like different people's perceptions, and that song specifically, it can relate to anyone in so many different ways. So I think that's what I wanted, from people listening and the audience to take it how they wanted it and apply it how, to what situation applies to them. But when I wrote it, I wrote it in kind of like early to mid 2017. And this truth is, I was just like really confused in my life, like at that time, like relationship wise, spiritually, I was just so confused. That's literally what I'm saying is like, I don't know what to do. I don't know to take the left path or the right path. I don't know, which route I want to go. And everything was just really confusing and blending in. And so that song I literally got in my bag. And it's so funny because it was such like a chapter of my life. And I'm thankful I'm not in that space anymore. But you can tell through the video and the song, like I was feeling every single thing that I was saying. Like I was like, yo, I'm going through it and y'all gonna hear it on this track. So yeah.
What was the most open you think you've ever been when it comes to just writing?
I would say that song for sure. Because I normally my thing, I'm not too good at being vulnerable. I should work on that more, but that's normally not the way that I do things. So that song I had just kind of decided, especially for it to be on my debut EP, that EP Mood, it was, a mix of things. It was like pop and hip hop. And I was like, I'm fun, but that's what I always tell people, like my brand being LiaSimone. Leah is this pop, super cute, pink type of girl, and Simone is really dark, like she is. And it's a part of me. I can be really moody sometimes. So that's when I was at that moment in time, I was feeling like Simone, like I was like in a darker space. And I was like, I'm not gonna front and pretend that I'm Leah the happy-go-lucky side, because I'm not all the time. Nobody is all the time.
Oh.
So no. And so I said I want to share that, and that was when I had just, those were the lyrics and the melodies. They were all just coming to me. And I actually found that beat literally just looking online, like through BeatStars.
Yeah.
And I came across it and I was like, oh, this is like embodying how my soul feels. And I just was looping it over and over again. And I was like, I just want to be as vulnerable as possible. So I don't know if they're going to get that all the time, but I said, okay, I'll put it on this track. Yes.
It's so funny that you're saying like there's two different parts of you.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yes.
There's that cute, fun pink, and then there's that dark look.
Yeah.
Taking no BS.
Yeah. And it's funny because I had explained it to someone not too long ago, and I was like, it's not like an alter ego, it's not like a different name. It's like some days I wake up and I'm just so optimistic and I'm just like full of sun, and some days I'm so like the glass is half empty. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is. I'm like, and nobody can make me see the positive side. Sometimes, some days it's really like that. So that's kind of like the Simone. She's just super serious, super sultry, and she just loves, I always say, when I work with my vocal coach and we start working on new songs, she's like, there's always this common theme. Like, you love, songs in minor keys. And I'm like, yeah, it's just something about that dark mysteriousness that I love. But I also am huge into pop music, specifically like mid 2000s pop. So I said, it's just kind of like LiaSimone.
We're gonna merge these together. Okay?
Yes, we're going to merge these. Yep.
I think Beyonce has that same thing where, sometimes she's like, oh, I'm so cute and innocent. Mm-hmm. And then this other, she's like, if you like it, you better put a ring on it. But like I think it's something about entertainment where you still feel like you have to kind of play both of those sides.
Yeah, definitely.
Me being in entertainment radio, it's more like, okay, I'm mommy Nikia.
Yeah.
But when I'm in front of the camera, I'm Nikki Marie.
Absolutely. It is. It's like this space. Totally get it.
And my daughter says, she's like, are you Nikki Marie today? Or are you mommy? Like,
oh, that is so cute. But I feel you. I feel you for sure. And sometimes I think it's necessary, and I think naturally we as people do it, or especially being a creative, to kind of have like this guard, which is very necessary. So it's like vulnerability is nice and transparency is amazing, but I mean, I'm not the first and I won't be the last to say how you have to be, tough in the entertainment business, blah, blah, blah. So, sometimes it's necessary to have this side where it's like, this is the mom, but this is me over here, dealing with all these other people. Absolutely.
And then that kind of takes me back to like some of the performing highlights that you've had throughout life.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not that old.
No. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Like, so have you experienced your 20 years? No.
No, right. No.
But what are some of the highlighted moments that you have experienced, at least within the past 3 or 4 years?
Yeah. I would say some few things that stick out to me. I actually performed in Hair Wars, which is David Hump the Grinder Hair Wars, like hair fantasy fashion shows that are huge, hair and fashion shows. And he normally doesn't allow like singers or any other type of entertainment. But he actually let me do it. And I was in a segment. It was Donnell, who's a great hair artist. And I did the song Hype Is Your Love, and I remixed it to talk about like how big is your hair. And it was just super cool. And so that was awesome because, like I said, he normally doesn't allow artists to like sing. That was cool. And I actually did a performance at the Aretha Franklin Jazz Cafe. That night was unforgettable because that was the first time I saw my name up on the, little digital billboard thing. And I was like pulling up, or I had walked down the street, I don't even remember. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like it was amazing to see LiaSimone in my face. And I was like, that is the start of something, because I've never seen that. And that was the first night too. It was like my face and everything was on all the flyers. It wasn't just like me doing a hair or fashion show or me doing an artist showcase, it was like, this is LiaSimone's night. She's on the billboard. I was like, oh my gosh. So that was amazing. That was amazing.
It's so important and crucial to remain humble
Yeah.
throughout your journey. I cannot even stress it enough to, anyone who comes on this show, like where you were,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
remember
Yeah.
how you got there, and
Yeah.
appreciate those who kind of guided you through that process.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about the pandemic
Yeah.
because I've had a number of guests that will tell me when it comes to music and shows, tours, and everything pretty much shut down.
Hmm.
So, what are some of the challenges you faced during the pandemic, career wise?
Yeah. I had to a couple of things. So obviously, you probably heard this answer a numerous amount of times, just things being canceled and big shows, small shows, whatever, but things that you were going to get paid for, and now it's done, over with, and you were looking forward to that source of income, and it's gone. So that was upsetting, and I love performing, so it was like it was necessary, of course, to stop things and close things. But it was things, certain shows I was already booked for, and it was just like, it's sorry. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I think for me, it was more, the world felt like it was stopping, right? But as a creative, we can't really do that. So I was like really getting a little stressed, because I'm like, I want to just take this time and relax and just like exist. I literally just wanted to be here. I just want to exist and live day to day. But as a creative, you have to stay posting, you have to stay having content. And that is what was challenging, because I'm like, I don't really feel comfortable being around anybody to go get this content, but I have to somehow link with my, one of my good friends, Jaden, and he's a photographer. So, we were constantly doing shoots and stuff as safely as we could, all because of the pressure to stay putting out content. And I'm just like, that was challenging. Like, we worked through it, and luckily we all, stayed safe and stuff. But yeah, it was next to canceling everything and me just wanting to relax. And I'm like, I can't, because I am an artist and I need to do this and do this and do this. And so that was, yeah.
I don't think that part I got a response regarding content, because as a content creator, you have to keep posting.
Absolutely.
Or people will forget.
Yeah. And it's annoying.
And then the algorithms are off whack. But that is like a real thing. Like, just had this conversation about social media and not feeling like it's our end all or be all.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, in certain industries, it is important. It's like the lesser two evils.
Yeah. And I look at it, my friends know, sometimes they used to get on me a lot, like, Leah, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this. And I love social media. It's very necessary, but I also have a much different mentality than like a lot of the quick, of people forgetting. And I call it the microwavable era. I am not like that. So to me, is like, I believe in real connections and real people like out here, like that are literally humans breathing. Yeah. So to me, if y'all don't see me post for 2 weeks, you don't know all the things and connections I could be making in real life. So to me, I just think differently. I think, again, social media is awesome, and it's gotten so many people so many great opportunities. But I used to be like, I'm not going to let it define me, but it does still stress me out, but I'm not going to let it, So I have a love-hate. But yeah, with the pandemic, it was like, I need to do something. I need to post some singing videos. I need to do a photo shoot. Like, I have to do something. So that was what was stressful.
Yeah. Were there ever any moments where, I guess, with the pandemic, like personally affected you?
Yeah. I feel like, unfortunately, I may be like one of the few where I almost kind of like enjoy the world stopping. It was just strange, and it was super scary to me in the beginning. But I really needed the break. Even though I kept pushing, I was still in the studio, obviously Can't Be Beat, and the whole video in the sand dunes was born from that. But like, you remember the first couple months when everything was over, I was just like, I needed it. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, it was so hard to explain. But that personally helped me kind of reset. And I think everyone has said this. The pandemic period, it helped us see what's really important, what we really need to really focus on, and how family and love, and that's what really, really matters. And so it was a nice reset for me. In the beginning, though, I was struggling, and I was like super anxious. I was super scared. I was that person that was so afraid to go to the grocery store. So that was unfortunate and annoying. But yeah, I needed it. I think a lot of people needed it, and I will admit, I will admit it. So yeah.
I think if we're honest, then yeah, I think we all needed that reset.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, along the way, people passed away,
Absolutely.
and that's probably the part that hit hardest because it hit my family a number of times. But I think just from me personally, it was a great balance. It was a great way to balance me out and figure things out and just take my time and not feel rushed to do stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I I agree.
And especially I think about, I had read some article where it was some awesome number of amount of people who had finally launched their, small businesses. So it gave you that opportunity. And, there were so many resources and still are floating around to help with small business owners and Black owned businesses. And it was so many people that, how you would say like, oh, if only I just had a couple of months off, if only there was more hours in the day, and they finally got it and they were able to pursue some of their smaller passion projects. And I'm sure they're, grateful for that. But it is a catch-22 because like you just said, a lot of death and heartbreak came out of it. So it is unfortunate. But yeah, I know a lot of people were like, it kind of helped us really see what is really important, and some of the outside stuff is not so important. It's our family and our loved ones and, things like that. So
yeah.
Yes.
Well, we got to get back to this video.
Yes.
I was trying to play the video.
Yes.
So Can't Be Beat. Tell me where did you film this?
Yeah, so we actually did it in Michigan. People cannot believe that there is that much sand and beauty in Michigan. Michigan is beautiful, but people didn't know there was like sand dunes. And there's actually a couple. So we were kind of debating between like 4 locations, all between Michigan and one was in Chicago. And I had just said, I want just this really minimalistic background type of scene. I want to be with women. I want to be with my dancers and my girls. And my manager was just on it, looking up sand dunes and the pricing and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it was about 3.5 hours up north.
That is incredible.
Yeah. And so many people were messaging me like, where were you? I'm like, I am not far.
Like, I thought you traveled way far.
Yeah. I'm glad it came off that way. But yeah, we all traveled, me and my dancers, my videographer and his assistant, my manager and my family. So it was a nice little 2-3 day trip, but we knocked that whole thing out very quickly. So yes.
Well, tell us the little backstory to the song.
Yeah. So a lot of it has to do with this experience that I went through in 2017. I was unfortunately put in it's all necessary. I believe in, what's meant to happen is going to happen in divine timing. But I was put into a situation where I feel like everyone was really looking down on me and everyone felt like they were way superior than I was. And that's frustrating, but we were all we're all on the same level. So I was like, why, or do some people feel like they're superior and da-da-da. And so I would get a lot of critique and people would I was in a situation where a good amount of people were very unkind to me. And it got me down for way, way too long, like way too long. And so this is kind of my coming out and my rebirthing, saying, F the noise, I am here to stay. That's kind of a lot of the lyrics is saying, y'all can talk y'all ish, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going anywhere. And y'all need to just sit back and listen to this beat because LiaSimone is not going anywhere. So that it was kind of like a really strong message and a statement of saying I am finally feeling like myself again and finally feeling like back to where I was, where I know that I can do this. So
yeah,
that is that.
Nice.
Yes.
Can't Be Beat. Well, I'm going to be playing that on
Thank
Nikki Murray Radio.
you. Yes, awesome.
Um,
Mhm.
obviously, I can't play the video,
That's okay. That's okay.
but tell everyone how old you are right now.
Yes, I am 22. So,
Okay,
yes,
and
22.
you've been
Go ahead.
and you've been writing since.
I've been writing songs since my first song I actually wrote at 11/12 years old. So
Wow.
that was middle school. And my mom still laughs at me because it was like a slow song. And a little boy, like, little hurt my feelings and broke my heart. And that was the first song that I ever wrote. So I'm like, at the time I was really upset. And I just came home. I was in middle school. And that was the first song I wrote.
Wow.
And then through high school, I didn't write as much because I was really focused on cheer, and I was in so many extracurricular activities like drama club, National Honor Society. I was running around that school doing everything. So
Wow.
then after graduation, I kind of got back to, like I told you, deciding I want to be a recording artist. Let me get back in my songwriting bag. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, last question of the night. So, who are some of the music artists out right now, or maybe in the past,
Yeah.
that have impacted you in some way, shape, or form through their creativity?
Yeah. I always start with like my top 3 inspirations, and I will cite them over and over again, and y'all will keep hearing it. So it's Beyonce, Stevie Wonder, and Lauryn Hill. Those are my go-tos that have impacted me in so many ways, from Beyonce on the performing aspect and really, giving your all and giving the audience a really good show, to the actual music and the arrangement, and the theory behind some of Stevie Wonder's music, to Lauryn Hill. Her music is so hard to explain what it does for me. It just makes me feel all like giddy inside. That's the best way I can explain it. And really listening to her, I realized at an early age, again, like around middle school, I want to make other people feel like this, so what do I need to do to make other people feel the way, Lauryn Hill and Stevie's Wonder, music made me feel. So those are like my main, those what put a stamp on LiaSimone and said, hey, okay, I want to do what they're doing.
Nice.
Some of my faves out right now, Billie Eilish, Megan Thee Stallion, and Chloe and Halle. So those are like my girls.
I know with Chloe, I always get the two confused,
That's okay.
but I think they were bringing kind of somewhat awareness to body shaming,
Mhm.
or like how we see images,
Yeah.
or how we see women as a whole.
Yeah. Yep.
And now with you being so young and growing up, and some people will tell you get out
Mhm.
because of the perception of entertainment.
Yeah.
But what would you say to young girls who feel like, oh, I don't have the best image, but I want to make music, or I may not have the best writing ability, but I want to be a writer?
Yeah. I love that. And even real fast to touch on that, what Chloe and Halle and the whole thing that they were going through, I just wanted to say, my biggest thing, even since I was young, I've always wanted to talk to and touch specifically young women. So I totally felt that whole thing. And, there's so much pressure on women and so many like random little standards that were placed on us that we didn't ask for. So I'm sick of that. I don't even follow all that. I can't. But to a lot of artists or young creative anything, I would say, um, I think me personally, I spent so much time a few years ago just like really stressing about things that weren't lined up perfectly, and like you just said, the image and the songwriting. And I used to feel like, well, if I don't have all these things over here, I can't really launch myself yet. And I have learned, just literally go for it anyways. Like, that is so cliche, but the more you keep going for it and keep trying things, more opportunities and things will line right up for you. So even if there's some things that you're insecure about, as you keep putting yourself out there, the right, help and things will come your way. And that's it. And especially even with like songwriting specifically, there's a bunch of virtual kind of songwriting master classes and a lot of classes on branding and stuff like that. So if you want, you can go down the rabbit hole and really try to learn a lot. But I think like I'm just over that. All I used to do is like research, and like I used to just stress a lot and like just feel like I need to be looking up this and I need to be doing this. And now I'm just like, I know that the gifts that I have are God given and He delivered them to me. So there's nothing I have to worry about. So I hope that can help people, because that's kind of how I had to shift my mentality. So
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's clear. It's really about mindset.
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
mindset, motivating yourself, looking in the mirror and seeing what you see is what you want it to be, what you want to see in yourself.
Yeah.
I always talk a lot about just being honest and authentic.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
they say I'm really big on manifestation, and my parents, they kind of raised me on that, and just like the power in the tongue. And so if even we all have those days where we don't feel too great or don't think we look too great. Once you really start saying that out loud, you're going to start believing it. You're going to start believing all the negative things that your mind hears. And I had an era of my life where I was there and I was just so like not feeling myself like in so many different ways. And my dad, he's so sweet. He actually told me to write out, affirmations and compliments and put them like all around my mirror. So even if I don't feel like it, the more that I keep saying it, you're gonna start to feel it. So it's all about mindset. And I just feel like I know this world is cruel. So you have to be, your own best friend, and you have to be nice to yourself, because a lot of people are not going to be nice to you. They're just not. And I've learned that personally. So that's that, definitely.
Well, you have a great head on your shoulders.
Thank you.
So I'm happy that you are 22 years old and still have things seem to be aligned. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
When you're positive and you have great parents that are teaching you and guiding you and protecting you, I think that's so necessary for the entertainment industry and any industry that you want to get into, because there will be people along the way trying to knock you down.
And it's so weird. It's like, for why? Like me and my friends, a lot of us are creatives, and we just really believe in like there is enough money for everybody. Like there's enough opportunity, but people, they don't like to spread the love. So they will definitely try to just insult you, and the whole nine. It's all the stuff you see on those in the movies is so real. Like people just knocking you down and insulting you. And like I said, it can only get to you if you start believing it. And if you start thinking like, hey, wait, maybe they're right, that's when it can start to affect you. But if you don't, and you know that your gifts are, like I said, God given, nobody can touch you. It's like you dodge it. It just flows right off. So it took me a while to get there, but it's just real. So
like Aaliyah said, dust yourself off and try again.
Absolutely. Literally, yeah, it's necessary. So yeah, definitely.
Well, where can everyone listen to your music and follow you and all that good stuff, showing you support?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere, on all social media at I am LiaSimone. That's LiaSimone. And YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, LiaSimone. One word, LiaSimone. So thank you.
Yay. Well, it was great having you on the show.
Yeah, I enjoyed. You were awesome. You're so easy to talk to.
Yeah. I think it's probably my profession because, by day I am a financial aid advisor.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like a therapist.
Absolutely. You have
But
this
I'm also
soothing aura. So
thank you. I'm also a mental health advocate.
wow, that's awesome.
So that helps.
Yeah.
And, I'm a mom, a wife, and all these other hats that I wear.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like, I just got to be calm.
Absolutely.
And I love all my guests who come on the show. I mean, we always have these inspiring stories. And I always tell people it's not where you are now. It's how you're motivating others to get to where they need to get to, but also motivating yourself along the way.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm a lot older than you. So. But
yeah.
Either way, I always feel like your journey is your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And how you choose to, pull others along with the journey, that's what's going to make us all stronger and united.
Absolutely. And that's always something I've wanted is, like I said, to inspire and help young women and just creatives in general. Because I've been doing this for, in the upcoming scene for 4 years now. And it's to say it's not easy. That is just I always say I need a stronger, phrase to say how challenging it can be. And so I always want to keep people going. And like I said, I believe in sharing and that there's enough room for everybody to get some of this bread. So yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to look for a quote. Sometimes I'm like the quote queen.
I love quotes.
Um, I had a guest on. He was actually a mentee for the White House.
Oh wow.
And he said this amazing quote. And I'm like, I think right now is the perfect time to say it because you're kind of leaning on that of like bringing people along or having
Yeah,
other people um, just like don't forget people.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's room for all of us.
yeah.
And I think one of the things that he was saying was when you're climbing up to the top, don't forget to reach back.
Absolutely. Love that.
And that's really
Yeah,
what it's about.
yeah,
Like I love the fact that I can have a platform and share it with everyone.
yeah,
Whatever color you are, whoever you are,
yeah,
everybody has a story within us and it needs to be heard.
yeah. Totally agree. I love that. And thank you for this. This is awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, okay, so you said all that you need to say.
Yes, yes. All social media, all questions. Yes.
Yay. Well, everyone, please make sure you follow both of us,
Yes.
LiaSimone and myself, Nikki Marie, on all social media platforms. You can find me on Instagram and wherever else you love to listen or wherever you like to follow me at Nikki Marie _radio. All of my information is at the top so you don't forget and you don't mix it up with the two Ks. It's just one.
Yes. Yeah. That's me. I'm like, it's one word, guys. Don't space it out because you won't find it. So yeah.
Absolutely. And like I say on this show, you have one life to live, so live it to the fullest and make sure you get to the top and reach back, man. There's
Yeah.
so many people that are hurting and they need support. So do what you can and love each other, but more importantly, love yourself.